for admissions served by Krankowski in both counties, and as with the answers, we'll consult with Penny before these are filed. We will file the responses to the request for administrator admissions also by February 12th. That's from Andrew Dixon, the attorney. So yes, we are working on that paper.
Any other details that you can share with us, or are you good for now?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much for that report. Under the old business review, need for a CPA, a certified public accountant, and a periodic audit. Let's have some discussion on that. As Tony and Susan have been here prior, have we ever had an audit before? My understanding is no. And have we employed the services of a CPA firm in the past?
But it's been Ballard, and Ballard comes out of, Ballard has their main office in Batesville and an office here, and the last general manager would carry stuff to them when they needed it. We have never had an audit because we've never been able to find a company that would come and do an audit.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Let's talk about the need to have an audit. What do the commissioners feel about having an audit?
Well, I think we are, what do we need? What do we need?
I can't hear you.
Do we need, I guess she's asking, do we need an audit?
At some point, yes, we need an audit. Do we need to concentrate on that right now? No.
Okay.
We have too many irons in the fire that we need to address first.
Any comments? Just a thumbnail sketch that we need to have an audit sometime this year.
I believe that if we do need an audit, it's not today, and could be done down the road, and we can move this on down the road and get to more pertinent things.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Stephen, I agree.
Okay. I'm just gonna yell. Okay, it's trying to cooperate right now, but I don't know how long it's gonna last. Next item, any discussion regarding our law firm? Is it something we want to talk about right now, or talk about that in the future?
Well,
Tony?
I think I personally would like to explore finding a new law firm. I've heard the statements that we can't do that in the middle of a lawsuit, but I think that happened a lot of time with the lawsuit. There was at least 2 changes from us and from the city, I believe. I'm not sure. Is that correct? Anyway, did the city also change during the lawsuit? No, they just had the one. We had 2 or 3. So we didn't have 2. We didn't change. The SID didn't change.
City didn't change.
City didn't change. SID, I believe, did. We changed during that time. I just feel like from what we have, the talks that I've had with them, that I think it's time for us to find somebody that would be more favorable to us to help us out more. I think I'm not finding. I just seen some of the things that have happened in the past that I'm not real pleased with the present law firm.
Thank you. Acknowledge Sue.
And I think, and we've done some research, everybody's Googled, and we found that company with King, I forgot the name, and I've got it written down someplace, the consultants.
Improvement Districts, Inc. It's Alan King. He's out of Little Rock, but that's a compliance issue and overall running SIDs, but that's not legal.
Would he be a source for a law firm that might?
Absolutely, but we have some other possible names for potential new law firms, as well. I agree with Penny on right in the middle of this, maybe not leaving one and going to another.
Okay, let me make a statement here. You know pretty well that I'm pretty bold and straightforward. I have spent several hours on the phone with Andrew. And I have expressed my concerns as to not getting the information, not moving things that we need to do, and not being informed. Let's just say in the last 4 days, that has changed. We spent over an hour on the phone yesterday, going over things. He called me just before we left here, because we had another meeting scheduled, but he got way late. Because the next step that he has for us, I've got a 250 questionnaire I get to answer. So he's changed his attitude too. And after we talked yesterday, he finally told me, he said, you know what? I like you, you're straightforward and you don't just stop. I said, no, I don't. So my only concern too right now is changing lawyers. First of all, you have to catch the lawyer up of what's going on. I'm not sure any of us can do that because I'm still learning of where we're going, what we're doing, and the new papers that were just filed that we walked out of the house with. Things are moving quickly, things are coming to the deadlines. I'm not saying don't look for another attorney, because if this is all said and done and we're not happy with him, at some point if we can do this. The deadline we have right now on our next conversation is, as he just told us, is February 12th. We are on the 6th. We have to get things filed, today's the 5th. No, it's the 6th. You know, so we have 6 days to finish getting this filed. And yes, you can ask for an extension, but that doesn't mean you're gonna get it. And there's several things that are happening right now that are moving quickly. And that's about all I can say.
Thank you, Penny. At this juncture, I would like to, things are that we need to be investigating for a new attorney after we get through the present roadblocks that we're experiencing. I'm glad to hear that Andrew's stepping up to the plate, but it's a little bit late in my gut. And after we get through the defense of this current lawsuit, I think it would be prudent on our part to consider an alternative. And I'm going to leave that open for right now, and we will explore that.
I would suggest looking for, if you're to look for an attorney, but one that specializes in SIDs. That is one of the biggest things, because SID laws are so vague. And that's why our bylaws are important. But they're so vague, unless you have somebody that deals with SID, it takes a lot more research. So, you know, yes, I'm not saying that we don't need a new attorney at some point, but check and find one, don't rush into one. That's how I think we got where we're at, I don't know, but we need one that specializes in SIDs.
We will exert due diligence in that regard when it comes to a background in the type of legal representation we need. I think that's only prudent on our part. Any further discussion on that?
Do we need to, does the questionnaire that you got from Andrew, can we help her? Can we help you if within?
Yeah.
As much as we want to.
Yeah.
Penny knows we have an open invite for us to help. If she asks for it, we'll all step up and do it. Okay, thank you. If there's no more discussion about that, commissioners, let's move on to the new business.
I like what she said, so.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. Jan, you can come up and join us right up here if you like. Okay, new business. We've got 3 or 4 items in there that are primary agenda items for our discussion group today. I would like to move the bylaws to the first of the agenda and then talk about the open management positions for the administration role, general manager, golf course management, facilities management, second, and talk about it, working on the budget, third, and fourth, reviewing the landscape bids. So I'm going to keep the speed up here today. We may not come to good, adequate discussions, but we have a couple of weeks before February 17th, our next regularly scheduled meeting, where we can digest what we talk about today and be ready to make some decisions on that Tuesday afternoon. Okay, I have a copy here, and all of us should have a copy of the bylaws. And we have had the good fortune
Do you
to have,
extra copy?
Yes, ma'am.
okay, we have the good fortune here that we had Lucinda McDaniel go through this and add, delete, tighten up, edit, and make some adjustments on the bylaws. I've read the old bylaws twice. I've read the revised bylaws twice. And I've gone through with a fine-tooth comb and made very, very little changes in what she's done and a couple of additions. And I don't know, I want to pose the question to the fellow commissioners here, if you've had a chance to review the proposed changes and amendments. Tony, you haven't seen it before?
Not the changes.
Okay.
Not these.
I actually have read over more than once, more than twice. And I do have some questions about some of the changes.
Okay. Well, let us take this opportunity to go through page by page quickly. And if there's anything that catches your eye that you want to question, we can bring some clarity to that. One of the changes here, number 3, general manager means the chief administrative officer of the Cherokee Village Suburban Improvement District. That was just a clarification point. On number 6, district means the legal boundaries of the district.
Can I say something, please?
Absolutely, just interrupt whenever you want.
Before you go through the bylaws and start talking about places that have a general manager, you have to decide whether you're gonna stay with a general manager or you're gonna go with an office manager and an outside manager. Because if you switch to an outside manager and an office manager, your GM, your bylaws have to be redone at that point because it's different. Right now, the GM the way it's written, the GM has control over everything. So as a board, you have to decide whether you're gonna go office manager, GM, or you're gonna stay the same. So that you can change that wording in the bylaws, just to keep it
straight.
Yep.
And
My
that
thoughts.
that was my question I was fixing to ask, that we need to change that general manager thing, if that's the direction we're going.
Well, we've had a general manager in the past, and the job description was much too large for it to be efficient and effective. And so we're going to break that down. And the way that I have been thinking about this is the general manager would live in the SID office, and they would encompass the office manager duties as far as the day-to-day operations, dealing with paying the bills, taking care of all the financial transactions, deeds and record keeping, everything that has to do with filing and storage of records, dealing with human resources and payroll issues. My thought on this is I would like to take a person from our maintenance staff, golf course staff, someone who will be able to assume the general manager position over the golf courses, both of them, and then be responsible for the maintenance, the equipment, the pro shops, and all the employees. So that person, they're not going to be exactly on equal footing because the general manager would have complete say, but the person that oversees facilities and operations, which includes the golf course, the lakes, and everything else, will have a lot of input on the needs as far as manpower, budgetary items, equipment, and things like that.
And I agree with what you're saying, but do we need to change that general manager and call it something else so it doesn't get confused? If you say general manager, golf course, general manager, bookkeeping and all that, do we need to call someone outside person, inside, I don't know what to call
In
it.
our conversations, we finally came up with, you have an office manager, and then you have an amenities manager.
Okay.
Because that's it, we were calling them outside people and inside people, and that's what we finally ended up the breakup is, because whoever's gonna be under the amenities, the golf courses, the maintenance shop, or whatever, is everything basically that's outside. The office manager would be over the inside, your day-to-day, your, like what Jan does now, and then you have the bookkeeper, and then you have the tax, like the girl that does the deeds and everything. You also have the, people that, am I right, this one question?
HR.
Nope. Yes, the people that run, that check people in and out of the rec center. She schedules those, because our office is there. So I agree with that you've got to get rid of general manager altogether so that you know exactly when you change things that it has been changed. But that's what inside and outside maintenance are amenities versus office.
I think we need to clarify that for our future discussion. As far as outside, we need to refer to that as facilities or operations, or both. If you want to just refer to it as amenities, okay, that's what it is, but that also is kind of broad and general. So we don't have to decide on that today. We can stew on that till the next meeting. And going through the bylaws are very specific about having a general manager who is an authority and has ability to make decisions day to day with deposits, withdrawals, paying bills, signing contracts, and doing that. I think that's an important feature. The commissioners do not need to have their hand in that day-to-day operation. The general manager's position is very important. Now, further on in the bylaws, it refers to a district manager. The district manager is subservient to the general manager. That district manager would be probably what I would think would retain the office manager features. So it does make that distinction a couple more pages into the bylaws. So the general manager still has to be a person that has a fiduciary responsibility with the everyday operation, the handling of the cash, designating deposits, and taking care of all those financial things, and signing contracts, and being able to pay the bills up to a certain threshold until she has to request, or he has to request, authorization from the commissioners to make that such a large expenditure. Am I with everybody so far? Okay.
Yes, but I still think it needs to be changed.
So the person that has the general oversight of everything, Stephen, what would you like to refer to them as?
The person that's in the office, whatever we name that person, whether it's a clerk or whatever it is, that person can be. And I think, and it's throughout the bylaws, and time again, it says the general manager. And I don't want that to be, I just think it's time to change that. That has been a thorn for a while in general managers.
Would this suffice?
If you take that, if you assign that off.
If you call her chief administrative officer, when it says, number 3 here, this is it right there in the front. It said the general manager means chief administrative officer of the Cherokee Village or Improvement District. And that's kind of what we're looking for. We could just call it the chief administrative officer, get rid of the general manager, do all that.
And that person would be responsible to do all of this work that you're talking about.
Rick, can you tell
What
us?
Steve's doing?
Can you tell me, when you're talking about this general manager, what job description or what that person would be doing? Or
We have kind of a basic outline right here that we were all given today that we can review and discuss and parse.
And here's another copy of it. This was,
we weren't all doing that, but-
well, I think we're still rearranging tables when I lay out Penny, I'm sorry.
But I'm still looking for what you said about you having, with the GM, who is under that, or who would be in the office?
we can kind of fine tune this in the job description, the definitions and rules of construction of this very beginning first page.
The reason I ask is right now you have your office manager / GM that's taking care of this. And then you have your tax clerk, and then you have your payroll. To do what you're looking at doing, and Jan and I have talked about that, but you, between the GM and using a office manager, someone that is, granted, over the office that takes care of making sure not the bills are paid, but they're talking to the contractors to whatever. When I say the bill, make sure the bills are presented to the bookkeeper to be paid. That is your office manager. And then you have Jan, when she goes back to her normal job, the job that she takes care of as far as, excuse me, doing all the stickers, I was trying not to say that. The stickers and the golf stickers and boat stickers, doing even more as making sure the reservations for like this, taking care of the administration needs at that point. Then you have the tax clerk that does what they need to do with their. All I want to make sure that you look at is that you're not adding 2 people into the office to do what is already being done. But Jan's job needs to broke up a little bit to put that office manager in there. So, I just thought I heard that you had a general manager, then you had an office manager, then you would have Jan, and then you would have the bookkeeper, and then you would have the tax. So you're gonna go from 3 to 5.
Are you talking about the assessor position? The tax person, okay. Because I read in there, the assessor determination, I said, I haven't had that one tossed about in the meetings
I got
before.
that one.
Okay,
Well,
Tony.
I see what you're saying. I think we only need to talk about one person. That one person oversees the whole running of the office. I would say that your amenities manager would be one step below and be answerable to this CAO, as we're calling it now, Chief Administrative Officer. They're also responsible to make sure all the assessments are done for the year, or the parcels, whatever we have to turn in, making sure the reports are done, making sure the payroll is taken care of, along with, people like Jan and Beth and all them would work for that person in the office. And I don't know what else they would do. I'm sure there's a lot of things that are being done in that office right now, but they pretty much have it's kind of like a general manager, but not with having to go out and make sure the golf courses are taken care of. She just tells the amenities manager, take care of the golf courses. He takes care of the golf courses.
That is why we started out with an inside manager and outside manager.
Right.
Because there is so much to do, and it's evident that things were not getting filed. And that's where we switched it to an office manager. Yes, the office manager and the outside manager, the maintenance, whatever you want to call them, they need to work hand in hand to make sure, because even what the amenities person, they still have to submit their bills and everything to the office manager.
Correct.
So they have to work hand in hand, but to really say that one is totally over the other one, because they don't know what they're doing. would have no idea what they're doing on the golf courses besides what is brought in and what is laid out, that we sit and talk about. That doesn't mean that because you have the golf courses or you have the swimming pool that you have your own run-of-the-mill. You still have to report to somebody, which would come back to that office manager and say, here's my payroll, here's what I need to do, this is what we're looking at, is that in the budget, does that work?
But they should have their own budget
Yeah.
to maintain.
Right.
But they would report that all to them, because she is the one that's going to, when I
Or
say
he or
she,
she.
that person is going to be the one that makes sure the bills are paid and the accounting part of it is done, the office work is done.
Right, and I also say that it also would be the person probably that people are going to come to with their problems. If it's an outdoor thing, she can say, I got it, pass it on to our other manager, let him deal with it. It just seems like they are the focal point of the contact for all the property owners. That anything they need to.
They're the ones that stable in an office.
Right.
You can't say the guy at the golf course, you know,
I know
I
where
need
he's
to
gonna
talk
be.
to where it's out on Boulder somewhere.
Yeah,
You know, so that, yes, they become the stable person that anybody can find
Right.
between 84 or
so
whatever.
that person would be like the focal point for the property owners for all issues that they want to address.
Okay, for the sake of clarity here, we're talking about a chief administrative officer, somebody that has the responsibility for dotting our i's and crossing our t's, making sure that contracts are handled and that payroll is handled and all of these things. That person has the ultimate responsibility and say so and reports directly to us 5 commissioners. What we decide for policy and for regulations as a board gets administered by the chief administrative officer. Is that clear so far? Am I on the right track? Now, under that chief administrative officer, we're going to have an office manager and we're going to have an amenities manager. The office manager is going to be living in the SID office, taking care of all the paperwork, the filing, the disbursement of dollars, payroll, HR matters. The amenities manager, who is on equal footing with that person, is not going to live in the office. They're going to be outside and they're going to be managing the golf courses, the maintenance buildings, the maintenance operations, the care and upkeep of the entire parks and all the properties that we have. So we have 2 separate managers reporting to a chief administrative officer. What I'm trying to do here is to bring clarity to this chief administrative officer. That person is going to command a little bit more salary than your 2 manager people. Let's say that person makes $50,000, maybe $55,000 a year, just for the sake of tossing out a number. Your office manager makes 40, your facilities manager makes 40, or your amenities manager, excuse me. That chief administrative officer is also going to need some job duties too, to fill in the gaps. It's an awful lot of money to be paying someone without them having their ability to actually be contributing in things inside the office. And we can talk about the semantics of dividing the workload later, but I don't want the chief administrative officer, who's getting paid more than everybody else and is responsible for everything, to be totally hands-off and letting the office manager do everything. Does that make sense?
I thought we were just gonna do one more person, like just a CAO and not another office manager as well.
Well,
I was under that.
I would
impression
love-
also.
I would love if it was just the chief administrative officer that ran the office.
Right.
And then the amenities manager came and reported to that person in the office. To me, having one person in the office that is the main responsibility for running the whole show, but the person that takes care of the amenities comes in and says, we need to spend this, we need to order this, I need a contract for that. They come in and they're on almost equal footing, but they need to still get approval before they go and start spending all the money.
But that's what we have right now is you have a GM that's over everything. You don't have that office manager, though they were all the same. So you're adding a position because you would have the chief administrator, then you would add an office manager, and then you're adding the outside manager. So you're adding a lot.
I'm not in favor of adding an office manager. I'm in favor of having a chief administrative officer do all the duties of the office manager, overseeing and distributing to the clerks, the full-time and the part-time accounting and bookkeeping help, the things that need to be done. The chief administrative officer running the office, no office manager, that is part of that person's role. But the chief administrative officer is not going to be burdened with having to run out to the golf courses, the maintenance shop, and deal with all the things that need to be dealt with out there. Yeah, and all that stuff that's outdoors. That is going to be run, there'll be one person overseeing all the things that get done outdoors. And whether it's equipment, maintenance, the staff outside, the parks, the greenskeeping, the pro shops, one person is going to run that. And we need to simplify the structure and not make it confusing. And I know I'm making it confusing right now, I apologize for that.
So
Chief?
is your chief administrative officer basically included is the office manager, it's all included in one?
Correct.
There you go,
That's where I was going. I'm sorry, it took 10
same
minutes to
thing,
get
just
there.
different names.
For this size organization, what you're describing is an office administrator, for the most part. And then separately, the outside, whether it runs everything, that's some type of a facilities director, meaning everything. Or you break that down into two. But for this size organization and office, it's even office administrators probably maybe too big of a job description for that. It's more than office manager. I totally agree with what you're saying.
It comes down to, it's a difference, we're talking the same thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, we are,
It's just-
absolutely.
We're talking about different titles, and that was what was blowing me, is because to me, and it doesn't really matter, but the office manager, the chief administrator, whatever you wanna call that person, is over the office. The person that's over the outside, the amenities, is over everything on the outside.
Correct.
Those two have to work together, but they have their own duties to do that.
Correct.
It's not, that's where I was getting confused, but you're talking the same thing, just different names.
Okay, my apologies. So we've got a person running the interior things, the office, with all the financial stuff. We've got a person running everything outside, the golf courses, the lakes, the parks, the equipment, and the people that work outside. And they're the office administrator, whatever title we give them, I really don't care. But the person that's responsible for all the fiduciary things and disbursement of funds, bank deposits, all that stuff, is going to work with the outside party, the outside individual, to make sure that their needs are met and their requests are heard. And if she or he, the office administrator, does not have authority, or it's too big of an expense or whatever, then it gets pushed up here to the board. The board will undertake that decision and then get it back to the chief administrative officer, office manager, whatever we want to call that person. And that's where we want we want the flow of information to come from the board to the administrative person in the office. And from there, that person will make sure that the office folks know everything that they need to take care of. And the chief administrative officer will let the outdoor person know everything that they need to take care of, and they will work closely together and meet fairly regularly, so there's no missing items, hidden agendas, or anything that slips by that nobody can see. So I'm just trying to, I just don't want that person that runs the office and has all the financial responsibility running out to the golf course to check and see if the grass has been cut. Don't want to avoid all that, to make sure the fish are still swimming in the lake. We don't need any of that. Just trying to divide and simplify, streamline the job duties. In the bylaws, that person is referred to as the general manager. We can change in the bylaws whatever we call the general manager that has the chief administrative officer duties. It's just we have to run it through the entire bylaw so it's consistent.
Right, that's what I think Steve was referring to.
Yeah.
You could definitely see some confusion there, so
Yeah.
let's make, again, whatever you call it.
Okay,
One's inside, one's outside, I totally get it.
Okay, we've spent 15 or 20 minutes on this. I want to move, if anybody, in looking at the proposed changes in the bylaws, if there's something that has caught your eye or needs to be discussed, now is a great time to do that. The official mailing address of the district office is what, Jan? P.O. Box 840 72525. So I need to make sure that's correct here in the bylaws. So I know the physical address, I just need to have the mailing address. Okay.
And remember that this is a working meeting, we're not voting on anything today. These bylaws, there's loads of changes, we've all gone over them. We're all gonna go over them many more times before the 17th. Are we planning on voting on the 17th on on bylaws.
Yes, what I plan on doing is I plan on taking these mini pages, running them through my scanner, and then being able to put them into a document that I can manipulate and do the deletions and the additions and clean this up and then email it to the rest of the commissioners, Penny and Jan, so that we can all review it, so we have something to vote on Tuesday the 17th.
This also has to go to the attorney for what I call legalese. They have to review it just to make sure that it matches the law. So give that time.
Yep, I'll make sure that happens. Thank you, Penny, for that. Okay, any more?
Are you going to discuss it with the public before you vote?
I'm sorry, we're not open to public comment at this time. This is a working meeting.
That's on the 17th.
The 17th, all this will be taken
Because
care
you're
of.
voting on it, so.
No, yeah.
Are you going to discuss it with the public before that?
That'll be the 3 minutes in the beginning of the public, of course.
Yes.
And then you've got the, after everything's done, then the additional 3 minutes. But we won't be voting on anything before your 3 minutes at the beginning. Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
About 5 pages in, I wrote in a couple of things here about the general manager will work with and coordinate with the operations and facilities manager. I'm on the one that's, I wish these things were numbered.
I'm sorry,
Do this,
what did it say on the top of that?
It says commissioner agenda scheduling. It's about
6, nominee equals.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're about the 6th page in. At the very top, it says number 13, commissioner agenda scheduling in the fine print. You find that one, about page 6?
I have a question further back.
Fire away.
He's on this one. Are you?
I'm willing to back up, Stephen. Go ahead, you got the floor.
On, section 2, 1, B, looks like number 1. What's the reasoning for changing that the officers may be reelected to their positions?
The way that this will be, the way it will be changed here, there are several changes here. Officers shall be elected annually at the board's first meeting and shall serve for 1 year.
That's the next one then.
Okay. Then it says officers may be reelected to their positions. So you want to know what number 2 is? That one right there?
Well, number 1, other, it says that officers may be reelected to their positions.
Yes.
And in the past, that has not been, they have not been able to be reelected to their position.
No. Yes, that's what he said. Like I was president last year.
Yeah.
I can't be president. Or chairman. I can't be chairman.
Yeah, so.
Yes, so why,
We like to not succeed each other the next year. You can take, and you can serve, skip, be reelected if you want to, or not. Here it is.
So
I'm
we're
just
talking,
wondering why the change for that. There's gotta be a reason.
We don't have it written down anyplace, Steve.
it wasn't specified in that one sentence. It's the previous version, the original version was officers shall be elected annually at the board's organizational meeting and shall serve for 1 year or until a successor is duly elected and qualified. The change to that is officers shall be elected annually at the board's first meeting and shall serve for 1 year or until a successor is duly elected and qualified. Officers may be elected to their positions. That's giving the board, the 5 of us, the ability to re-elect Susan as vice chairman next year if she wants to. If you,
Can you tell me what page you're on?
the 6th page. At the top, it's chapter 2, administration, page number 3.
It's not very far in, a couple pages in.
Yeah, it's the 3rd page in chapter 2, administration, at the top.
It is
President?
B, that B, and you look at number 1 under B.
Yeah.
Out beside where it's been changed,
Okay,
where it's proposed to be changed.
yeah, and I'm gonna follow up what he said. There is a place that says we only serve we do not serve consecutive years as an officer of the same office. Yeah, it's in our bylaws. I read this. We can't get on the website right now.
No, but I couldn't find in our minutes where we adopted that.
Okay,
And I can't find it in the bylaws either. This is the only, it was very vague and ambiguous to me when I read this under administration.
And there are a lot of changes here. But I think all five of us are in agreement that every January, if we want to, let's switch roles, of course. Just like
I mean, we need to open it up.
Tony was chair last year, and now it's time for somebody else, and next year, we just, however that rotation basis is, and I agree, it's gotta be in the bylaws, so let's figure it out, but yeah.
So just give that some thought, and we
Now,
can.
unless we all agree that,
I
One of
would
the-
suggest, and this is only a suggestion, but I would suggest that you do not re-elect year after year or after, because then it can't come back on you that the same person is controlling everything
Right.
and has their own ideas and their own agenda, and they can do what they want. If it changes each year, it gives the board a little more visibility and a little more option that people can see that if they're not just,
The key
like,
word in
saying,
there,
we're all doing this.
yeah.
the key word there says may, so it's a permissive, it's not shall, which is a directive. So it says may be reelected their position. So if nobody ever wants to have this microphone next year, then all we gotta do is say, hey, we can just keep things the way they are or do whatever. But I don't wanna get hung up on that one thing, but duly noted. So, what I.
But if you're gonna put this into a document and make these changes, we
We'll have to be
have, there are
specific.
several of us that say, no, you should not be able, you may not be elected a second year. You can be elected, serve, skip a year, and then maybe you can be reelected the following year. But like Penny just said, we need to let this be wide open and new ideas every year. That's why all of us are in completely different jobs this year than we were last year.
So,
Now,
if we're in agreement to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, there's two ways to go about this. You're, either no, absolutely no, somebody cannot have the same position next year. And so, automatic rotation, however we figure that out. Or the other way is, we're voting. Hey, do we want to vote for Susan as vice chair again? And if we all say, great, that's two different ways to do it. One is, no way, we rotate, period, end of story, or the other way is we're voting on it. Either way, I kind of think it's a little bit of the same outcome. It's out in the open, it's transparent, it's what we're voting on. Maybe there's a reason why we want Susan as vice chair next year. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far, but
The key
two
word
ways.
there is elected.
Yeah.
We all five of us get together, and a person's not gonna get the position unless they get 3 votes. Or 4 or 5. The minimum of 3 or 4 or 5. So the election is something that we all have that ability to pipe up and say, I want to nominate Stephen Warwick as chairman next year. And we have the ability to do that through the normal elective process.
Right, but my question is, why would we change it?
Why would we change it?
Meaning, why was it changed,
Let me, Brent,
here?
so he's asking, why should we change the rule of no one can be reelected to the same office? What you're saying is we're putting in the word may, meaning we wouldn't necessarily do that, but if he gets nominated for being a chairman and he says, I don't want it, and then she says, I don't want it, and he says, I don't want it, and I go, I don't want it, it still falls back on you. Now we can, by putting in may, now reelect you because it's not a shall, it's a may.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what you're saying, right?
if it's an election, we're all a part of this process. It says may, it doesn't say shall. So
So we would definitely just serve for 1 year and then move positions unless we come in a situation where nobody wants to do it except for the chairman.
well, the way this is presented, we're definitely.
That's what he's saying.
If it is election and you have 5 people and the first 4 turn it down, it doesn't matter what your rule says, because you're stuck with whoever's left.
That's how we
So,
always say.
that part of it, the may there, it doesn't matter. you do have to decide whether you're going to do it or whether you're not going to do it, whether you may can do it or may not can do it. Just be more precise so that they know what the people in 2 years, 3 years are gonna know what to do.
Okay, moving on. We'll kick that one around, and we can, once we get our CVSID emails, we can banter that back and forth and say, hey, we're gonna do this way or that way, whatever, however we can discuss it next time. Item number 2 there, commissioners shall serve 3-year terms. That's supposed to be 4. It's mislabeled as 3. And we'll delete the under Arkansas code, blah, blah, blah. Staggered so that 2 commissioners are elected for 4-year terms, followed by 3 commissioners being elected for 4-year terms 2 years later. So every 2 years, there's going to be election. 3 commissioners, and 2 years later for 2 commissioners. It wasn't spelled out before. It was incorrect in the 3-year term, so that one does have to be changed. Okay. All right. It's talking about candidacy of people, and on the next page, I mean, we don't have time to go through every single page, but I'm going to try and pick out some of the highlights. What I'm asking the commissioners to do is to read this carefully twice in the next 7 days, and then when we talk about it, we'll write your questions down, bring them to the 17th meeting, and we'll say yay or nay, we're putting it in or we're taking it out. On that page 6 that we were at before, where it says number 13, commissioners agenda scheduling at the top. Okay. Now, there's section 2.6, oath of commissioners, A, B, C, and D. C, the general manager shall not exercise legislative or regulatory powers reserved to the board. That's just changing it from district manager to general manager. D, it was written here, the district manager has no authority, real or apparent, to allow variances of any regulations. All variances require board approval, and I think that makes perfect sense.
Okay, Brett, where are you at?
I'm in the 2.6, oath of commissioners. Section 2-6, oath of commissioners.
Six.
Okay, and you,
Oh, excuse me, 2-7.
okay.
2-7.
I was gonna say my-
Apologies.
My 2-6 only has 1 sentence.
Yeah.
Right.
Duties of the general manager, 2-7. There's A, B, C, D that's been written in, and then E that I wrote in here. Then you can take it or leave it, embrace it or reject it. The GM will work with and coordinate with the operations and facilities manager to ensure the needs of the various amenities are met, to include but are not limited to staffing, equipment, and materials. That's not written in there. I wrote that in there late, about 2 hours ago.
Is that D?
That is E.
Where's that?
E I wrote in 2 hours ago. You guys don't have it. I just wrote that in.
D is handwritten in the margin, and Brent is adding E that says something that I didn't hear. I mean, I was still trying to find it on the page.
Okay.
Say E again.
E.
Slowly.
The general manager will work with and coordinate with the operations and facilities manager to ensure the needs of the various amenities are met, to include but are not limited to staffing, equipment, and materials. And there may be more you want to tack onto that. When I get this fed into, if I can get this into my printer and I can get it to where it's an editable document, as soon as I get that done, I will email it to everybody so they can, it'll be cleaned up so it'll be easy to read.
Okay, on that, you're talking about the general manager having to do all this work with the outside, making sure everything is done. That's what we've got now, and it's too much. That's what I thought we were breaking up. So I'm getting confused because we're going back to,
The outside manager is going to come to the general manager and say, I need to spend this much money on a new tractor. Can I get this out of the budget? It's 50 grand. The outside amenities manager has direct control over his staff. The general manager does not. The general manager and the outside manager will talk about pay increases, employee reviews, this, that, and the other. They will work together on human resources issues. The person outside, the amenities manager, will do all the scheduling, will be in complete control of their crews. They will take care of all that. The inside general manager has nothing to do with that, but being able to say, we need to hire another part-time person, we can afford another $1,000 a month for that. That's all that person is going to be there as a checkpoint to say, yes, this makes sense, yes, we can afford it, yes, we have that flexibility in the budget, or no, we can shut it down right there.
I also see number two, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
I also see number two, if you read number two on there, it says oversees daily operations, maintenance, and services. Something will need to be changed there because that will be the job
That's
of
true.
that person.
I didn't line out maintenance and services. The general manager shall supervise all employees of the district, and 2 is oversee daily operations of the inside of the office. And we should add another line there that the amenities manager will oversee all the operations outside. So I will make that clarification when I clean this up.
To make this simple, there's 2 positions here, inside and outside. Office administrator, facilities administrator. Simple. Facilities is, we just know that that's all the outside. They're both administrators, and no doubt about it, in the way this is described. Office administrator, facilities administrator are my ideas. If it's 2, if we're talking 2. There's other ways around it for this size of an organization, but we wanna go less and not, we don't have the money to go more,
We want to have our
Who
existing,
knows? So 2 people, office administrator, facilities administrator, because I understand your confusion on, this was a district manager and this was I get it, you gotta change all that. And if it's 2 people we're talking about, there's 2 specific job titles. And whatever we come up with, let's do it.
yes.
And job descriptions.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll fine tune those. We will
that's-
get to the job description.
That's another day.
Jan, you have a question?
Just out of curiosity, so you have these 2 managers, should they each have their own budget, so there's no, I don't wanna say arguing, when an outdoor manager comes to the indoor manager and says, I need to hire 5 more people, and she says, well, that's not in the budget, should be laid out to where the outdoor manager has his own, her own budget, and they have to work within that, and the indoor person has their own budget, which you all are overseeing technically.
Both of them.
Both budgets.
Yes,
And then there's no argument, there's no.
That's true.
my opinion.
that's a very good point, Jan. Thank you for bringing that up because
That's, I think what she's saying is we need to make sure that that verbiage, what she just said, this person and this person have their own stuff and they are going to report, we need one more person up here who's gonna do some of this work.
Well, that's you all.
That's
you
you all.
That's you all.
That's us at 20,000 feet.
So if
Okay, let's back this up a minute. You have the commission, and then you have an indoor, and you have an outdoor. We have a budget. We have a budget, and the indoor is a department in that budget. The outdoor is a department in that budget.
correct.
But the council still is over all of that. That's where you're getting confusing. We keep adding people, and this job, you're making it more complicated as what is to be done. Then,
I think that they should have their own power to do what they need to do with their budget without having to ask the other manager,
I agree.
Otherwise.
I agree.
that's a problem.
I agree. When we develop our budget for 2026, I'm hoping that we take the time to have the delineation between inside operations and outside operations. The outside operations person is gonna have a lot of latitude with their hourly people, their salaried people, their budgets for daily consumables, oil and tires and this, that, and the other. When it gets to a situation where they need to spend $75,000 on a new major piece of equipment, if it's not already planned for from a need that was requested the prior year, then if it's an emergency, they're gonna have to bring it to the commission and say, we need an exception to my budget because it's not I don't have the power.
It all has to, that kind of a purchase, all has to be done in the minutes, approved, voted on, so that when you have a record and you pay it, you have, the office has something to back up that says, I have the permission to spend this money.
Absolutely.
So that comes back to your budgets, your departments, and the commissioners approving that budget beforehand.
Absolutely. And I agree with what Penny just said right there. We're gonna have to agree on the budget and make it nice and tight and with enough room for growth as we need it. And I want both the inside and the outdoor person to be able to have the latitude to not have to go run into each other when they have a problem or a request or this, that, or the other. But when it comes to general human resources issues, reviews, pay raises, what's the word for when people get in trouble and they need to be reprimanded? Disciplinary actions, we want that to be done according to the rule book and make sure everything's fair and, verbal warning, written warning, termination, whatever the guidelines are.
So do we need this one, 2-7, duties of manager. Do we need to have two of these sections, one for inside and one for outside? Because,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, so we need to develop
Something like that.
we need to develop 2.7, we need to scooch in another 2.7.
Got it.
Next, you have to determine what their
Yeah.
jobs are and what their duties are, and when it comes down to the budget, what they can spend, and that all talks about the budget. But, yes,
Okay.
Okay.
So two budgets, and when something comes up, I'm just going to
there's
you.
not two budgets. You can only have one budget.
They'll
You have
come-
departments in the budget.
Okay, so one department's gonna create a budget, the other department's and those will be combined into one budget. I mean, that's, what I'm trying to figure out, Penny, is if the outside people, they know what they wanna spend their money on, and the inside person's gonna know what they wanna spend their money on, and then we just need to combine those so that if it says, how are we gonna do this to not screw up?
Your budget committee, when you put your budget together, your departments, your inside and your outside, have to bring in their request. What I've got is, what I'm spending for, salaries, what I'm spending for gas, what my utilities usually are on this, and that totals, and I'm just using a figure, $20,000. That's their budget, but in that line items in that budget, it says, you've got $1,000 for electric, you've got $1,000 for this. So that doesn't mean you go spend $2,000.
Okay.
You've gotta stay within those lines of that budget.
Okay, moving right along, or we'll never get done.
So we need to create 2-7.
Yes, I made a note there.
Well, you could make it 2-7 and say duties of office or CAO and the manager, and then below it, break that up into two different spots.
I will bring as much clarity to that as we possibly can, so it'll make sense. As soon as I get it done, I'll get it to everybody. Okay, the only last thing at the bottom of the page, use of district property facilities. This came up at our last meeting, and there was a lot of comment about it. I want to bring this to everybody's attention. There's there's A, B, C, and D. I just added the D in there, where I'm fine with A, B, and C. D, Board of Commissioners will not be granted any special privileges or favors regarding the use of all amenities in the district. That seemed to be a general head nod from the crowd on Monday night. I don't expect to golf for free or half price. Am I being unreasonable? Speak to me, people that have been here.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna say, I disagree with it, but it's not gonna hurt me if we do vote it in. One thing we did find out, we will have to, claim it on your taxes.
Tony, I talked to the Tony, I talked to the attorney
Right.
right before I came. And that was a question I asked him, and I explained it all to him. And he's told me not to worry about it.
Not to worry
We
about.
don't, and he said it's not, you can do it.
Okay.
But I
So-
still don't think that we need to get a minute.
Okay, so I am open on this
We have
question.
to vote on that later, but.
So I'm open on this question as to
We'll vote on
whether,
that at the 17th. I'm
Okay.
gonna vote no.
And you need to vote on.
Yeah.
Hey,
on-
you can't talk about how you vote.
I'm learning. Sorry.
Well, you need to start thinking whether your employees, if you have full-time employees, do they get their amenities free? If it's part-time, what are their hours that would warrant a half price or things like that?
what has been customary and usual in the past? Have they been able to golf at a discount?
Full-time was free, full-time employees, part-time employees, it was,
If there is a precedent in place, and it's written down somewhere,
there is.
Well,
So
but
that's
we're
what I'm
talking
saying.
two different things. We're talking about employees' compensation packages. What's in there?
But
you know,
that wasn't.
The other one is we're talking about
commissioners.
5 volunteers. Come on.
Right,
And-
but
and-
what I'm saying is when you do review it, if you have to put something in there, it should be defined, because there is no employee compensation package.
I know, but what you're talking about, when this employee gets hired and you've hired him
But
for,
it's always been at the discretion of the manager, there was nothing defined.
We need to tie up loose ends as far as I'm concerned. I don't like loose ends, they come
That
around behind.
also is in your employee guidelines.
That we, and I think that we amended this in 11 of 25 to add the holidays, but in 2 of 23 was when, and I think I made a copy of this for you.
In December of 25, what we amended were the holidays.
The holidays,
That was
yes,
it.
that was it. But here, we have the employee guidelines document, but there's no signature page. But this is what we talked about in, oh Lord, I just said where we did it.
Without it being signed, unless you can show the minutes that it was in there, it's a piece of paper. You have
So we need to fix this because the
It needs to
signature,
be all redone.
yeah, but
But what Jan is saying too is in the, and I have read it, in the employee guidelines, because there's a lot of things in there that have to be redone. Because things have changed since that has been done. But you have employees that right now that golf, but not everybody knows the same thing. You've got to be consistent in what you do. If you offer to one, you have to offer to all. So that's why your guidelines are gonna be important for the employees, for the fact they have to sign that when they are hired.
And we have employees who are working at minimum wage, and they're fine with that, as long as they can go play golf.
And if that's been a normal precedent before, I'm fine with it.
yeah, oh yeah.
If it's
no,
part of their
I'm
employee
talking about-
benefits,
Well, and what I'm saying on that one is, that was just, the one that you have in your hand was the one that, was started, but it's never been finished. So, and the original one that you had that has the funny type on it, that goes way back to.
1995.
Exactly.
I've got one in my office somewhere because when I was in the car, I started looking at it. That, yes, this needs to be amended, but got stuck in the paperwork.
When I was hired 3.5 years ago, whatever, I signed the one that was from 1999. There is nothing that, so I'm only saying, like, if you have to put something in the bylaws about any of that, you kind of take a look at that.
Yeah, as for the employees, totally different
Well,
And I
before
agree with what you're
that,
saying.
before you put that into the bylaws, you need to redo the employee guideline so that when you refer to it in the bylaws, you know what you're referring to. You can't put it in the bylaws and say, this is our employee guidelines, oh yeah, but we changed those.
And you can't hire two new people, these managers, without having an employee.
Okay, all that to say, I was just addressing where the commissioners were as far as amenities.
As far as the commissioners, and I'm the outsider here, this has been off and on for years. Some commissioners have gotten it, some have chosen not to take it, some have gotten it and chose not to take it. One of the things you need to look at is, and this is, either way, as being a commissioner, you put in a lot of hours. Is it a deal that, yes, it's, to me, it's sort of like saying thank you a little bit for spending all the hours that you spent. But another thing was brought up to me. If the commissioners, whether they're out at the golf course, they're out at the swimming pool, or they're out walking the trails, or they're out playing pickleball, what are those commissioners doing? They're actually mingling with the people out here, making themselves available, so that you can walk up to them and say, hey, I got a question, I know who you are now. So keep that in mind. It's not only that you might get the amenities, but what are you doing that as a commissioner to say, okay, how can I help you? What can I make you do? Here I am. Is there something in this rec center that you think needs to be changed? Is there something in this building that needs to be changed? How are the golf courses treating you? Just PR. I guess that's what I want to say. Is it something that you can get out and say, I take pride in my community, I take pride in this?
Okay, great. I think we've talked about bylaws enough for one day. We need to move along or we'll never get done. I will go through and generate this document, and I'll have everything redlined and have everything highlighted that are the changes. So you'll have plenty of time, hopefully, to chew on it before February 17th's regular meeting. Fair enough? Any final questions on bylaws?
Listen, there's no way
I'm just asking for questions.
there's no, I will answer that one. There's no way you can vote on this by the 17th, because we've got, 25 more pages to go through? If you go and type it and get it to us, then we all have to sit down and read it and hope there's no more changes, and then we can send it back, and then we can all do it again, and then finally, when you get it together, we can send it to the attorney to make sure the legalese is there, and then you're ready for it. But I also agree with what was said. Once these bylaws are done, you do need to make them available to the public to at least read and say, okay, or, maybe I have a question on something. Not that you're gonna change it, but they may have a view that we're not seeing. So there's no way you're going to make this a vote by the 17th, because you're not.
We're going to have a rough draft on the 17th
To talk about.
to talk about it and to see if there's any changes. If there are no changes to that point, it will go under legal review. After legal review, then it will come back for a final vote. This is not going to string out for 17 months. We're going to bring this to closure ASAP, and I hope I have the enthusiasm of the board behind me on that.
As long as we're fair and equitable and it's not.
And it will be posted on the website just like it always is once we get done.
Don't say it'll be posted on the website.
When it's
quite
done,
yet.
when it's done.
We are working on that.
If it is posted on the website, can it be in a place that's easy to find?
The new website will be easy to find. That's the way if you haven't looked, the front page is up, but don't laugh at it, because that means we've now got control over the domain name. We can start rebuilding it. And that is where we're at. We're working on that. But it will be easy to find in the departments that it goes to.
Okay, great. So we are put a wrap on the bylaw question. The next question here is to discuss just briefly discuss the open management positions. Considering the job descriptions provided.
You said it.
Okay, that's the very first item, we skipped over that. Discussion, consider job descriptions, the two-part administrative position. We've talked about this quite a bit. I just want to acknowledge it so nobody says we skipped over something. Okay, so the office manager, we have a basic job description here that I don't know if anybody's had time to read yet or not, but we will digest that. We'll create a job description for the amenities manager as well. And we will be able to have both of them for this, but is it a general consensus that everybody is happy with going with a two-person management thing, dividing the duties from inside to outside? No major pushback?
No. Just keep in mind that yes, you have the agenda, but then this will go on the agenda to be voted on the 17th, the next meeting. That's what you're talking about here is, this is what we want to do, or this is our thoughts on this, but it'll have to go on the agenda to be voted on officially.
We'll have an agenda item for approving a rough draft on the 17th. And if the rough draft meets muster, then it will go to the attorney. And after that, we should be able to, no, approving the rough draft.
Normally, you're going to send it to the attorney before you put a rough draft out. Because if you put the rough draft out and the attorney comes back and says, you've got to take this paragraph out of here because it's against the law, I don't know what it is, then you're back to another rough draft.
Okay,
So it's got to go to the attorney before you present it so that you know exactly what you're voting on or considering when you're going to vote on it.
point well taken. Thank you, Penny. Okay. Do we need to talk about the job descriptions anymore? I don't think we do. Let's move on to the next item. The third item here is establishing a budget for 2026. I'm going to let anybody who has an opinion on 2026 take it from here. I have not done a super in-depth review of the budget, so I'm not going to be the lead discussion on this one. Tony?
Have we not approved one from back in November? Did we not approve the budget? It's not in the minutes? We didn't approve a budget at the end of last year. We did not approve.
At the end of 2025 operating budget was approved on 12/16. We got that. We do not have, and we have not even worked on, we pushed it on a 26 budget. We have nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
So the way you left the way you left the old board December 2025, the 2026 budget, which we're talking about, you got a little way there.
No.
You need to start.
Correct.
Got it.
It was forward.
That's what I thought. I just
We
want to
went from
confirm.
old business to old business.
Okay, so let's talk about the 2026 budget. Fiscal year is January 1 to 12/31. Just want to confirm that. Because some people do things in an odd manner. I want to make sure that we're playing catch up now. We're 1 month into 2026. We're operating without a budget, and we need to try and tidy this up as soon as we possibly can. Has anybody had a chance to dig into this and make some sense and present any thoughts, ideas, questions, or anything about a proposed 2026 budget?
I would like to say I do not have even close to enough information to sit down and try to make a budget.
What would you like additional clarity on?
I would like just the line item budgets from the last 3 or 4 years with the total amount spent in each place.
I think we have.
If you're looking for a really good part of that, you're about to get one handed to you. Al had done one, and he passed them out before. He's done it for the last 5 years, a budget, and kept track of the expenses, and he just presented a report. He did it for SID and he did it for the city, so I've seen both of them. And,
I sent it to you all.
I think I do have that.
okay, But look at that, it's comparison, you've got the budgets in the minutes somewhere, but we can pull those out and give you a line items of what we've got.
You got this, Steve?
That's last year's.
This gives you a guideline, 2025 operating budget right here.
In,
In previous years, because this is it's calendar year, so we're already behind the eight ball. Going back 2 or 3 years, when did those boards finalize the coming year
we
budget?
started
Do you guys
working
have
on
to?
it like in August.
A budget's supposed to be done and filed by the end of December.
Right, so forget 2025, what happened at the end of 2024? When was that budget for
We
2025?
began working on that budget in August or September, and we worked on it for several months. Well, we worked on it for several months and then finally approved it, I believe, in the last meeting of the year. So we.
December of 2024?
Yeah.
Okay, so this year, meaning December 2025, we're a little bit different, this is not normal.
Yes, and,
It just kept getting tabled.
Yeah, I know, I was in the meetings, but,
we're stuck. There's no good, all I can say is, I'm sorry, the last board was good.
Excuse me?
Excuse me, the last board kicked the can down the road, and here we are.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna,
Okay,
gentlemen, let's focus on the 2026 situation here. We're behind the 8 ball, 1/12 of the year right now. And it's gonna take us at least a month to get this squared away. So I am hoping that we can, if anybody has gone through this and really reviewed it, I would love to have some initial thoughts. I have not really digested it. I was involved in many other things, and unfortunately, this took my last priority. So, Steve, Tony, Susan, Michael, if anybody has had a chance to, I don't want to belabor this, I don't want to waste everybody's time. If we're all kind of sitting there going, not really sure yet, we need more time to think about it, then let's take the next couple of weeks to really think about it before we get together again. Because I just don't want to.
Do we all have a copy of Al's?
yeah, we don't.
yeah.
You gave us one too, so.
2026 proposed budget right here, yeah. We've got a proposed budget, we got the last year's operating budget to compare it to, and hopefully we'll be able to adjust accordingly. And keep in mind that when it comes to the personnel situation, I'm thinking, without knowing the guys at all on our outside staff, and I'm looking forward to really getting to meet them and understand if they're all going to be here this year, and to make sure that if they have any questions, we can answer the questions, we can help them meet their needs, especially the guys that are in the administrative role, about your manpower, your equipment needs, and all that. I don't know, Jan, if any of that has been submitted the tail end of last year from the outside people, the golf course maintenance and management people, if there's been any requests for anything.
It didn't come to the office, it might have gone to, who was helping with the North Course.
Okay, so we're kind of starting from the beginning, and that's okay. We know where we're starting, and we're going to do this the hard way. We're going to do this the long way, and I'm just requesting that all of us really dig into this the next couple of weeks, and bring your red pen and your yellow highlighter, and let's really get into this for the meeting on the 17th. We've got to I know we've got a lot on our plate, and I appreciate everything you guys are all doing, but we need to focus on the budget. I think that's a primary thing. The budget and the administration thing, I think we got that, because the administrative roles are two expensive roles. We need to make sure we fit in the budget. Okay, any more comments about the budget before we move on? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item on the review, and that is reviewing the landscape bids. We are up against a little bit of a time crunch. It is the first week of February. The weather's finally getting warmer. Pretty soon the leaves will start to bud, the daffodils will pop up, and we're gonna need to mow yards and fairways and greens and all the parks. We need to come to a decision on one of the 4 proposals that's been placed in front of us. All of the timeframes have expired, I think, on their, the validity of their bid. But I think if we go back to all of these people and say, we've selected you for this task, then they will probably say yes, because it's a lot of work, and they'll probably take it. So at that point, I'm going to turn the microphone over to anybody who wants to comment about D5 hydro seeding, Arkansas landscape, Norris landscape, and specialized outdoor services. I am the newest one to this game, and I do not know these people. All I'm seeing and what I'm judging on is what the numbers are in front of me. And that's my only rationale, is the final cost.
The only thing concern I have right now is without a budget, it'd be hard to decide which one to take, because I'm sure the amounts are quite different range. And with that being said, we don't know what our budget's going to be, what we're going to allow for landscaping this year. Do we allow for enough money to cover it?
Also, you have to take into consideration that person who is going to be doing your facilities, overall manager person too. That amount of money, that salary, and if that person is going to be the manager, you have currently 2 managers, one for the north, one for the south, who both have been here a very long time and have larger than most salaries. So you need to look at all of that when you're looking at the 4 bids to do that versus this, or there's more avenues now that you were going to look at this year.
That's true. Thank you for bringing that up, Jan. Because what I'd like us to consider is, with just a thought here, just an idea, we got a North Course and a South Course manager, making one manager over both courses, elevating one person to the administrative role, and the other person to the practical hands-on role of getting everything done. That person will have enough intrinsic knowledge and value in managing the golf courses to be an administrator. If neither person wants that role or is not qualified to do that, then that is yet to be determined. But that is something that crossed my mind, is do we actually need a full-time golf course manager at the North Course, a full-time golf manager at the South Course? Can that not be combined into one, where that person manages both, and they have crews controlling the activities at each respective golf course? Your thoughts, please.
Well, the first thought is that's what we're looking at with the amenities manager.
Yes, that's what
So that that solves that problem right there.
those people would be under.
They would be under him, and
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
maybe one of those individuals would become the facilities manager, and the other one would have the role of managing the 2 golf courses. That is, we need to determine a level of interest, a level of ability, and a level of commitment to that. And I don't know the people, so if that's not an option, shoot me down right now.
the one that's the amenities manager knows golf. Whoever we get, we would want them to know golf courses.
Absolutely.
How to take care of them, what to do with them, how to run them, how to do tournaments, things like that.
There's no building maintenance, and
Yeah.
a lot of other things besides golf course.
Yeah,
And lake management?
lake management. But, I mean, it seems like something that he would appoint.
Rather than just who has been maintaining the golf courses
Right.
as a manager for their specific course, to be able to do all of that. Is it in their wheelhouse?
That's what we need to determine. We need to ask those questions. We need to see.
That's what I said, would that not be up to if we decide to do an amenities manager, would that not be up to them to decide who to put in charge of which course? Because that'd be their domain, that'd be their job, to maintain
I agree
and
with you.
manage the courses as
But
That
well.
might be a question that you need to talk to the people that are in those positions now,
I agree.
so that you know who is comfortable, who has the expertise, and who wants to do it versus just saying, hey, we're putting you over everything and, oh, you over here, we're putting you under him and we're doing this. You need to talk to the people that are here of what can be done, what they think can be done, because they're the ones that do it. We don't do golf courses, the only thing I do is swing a club. So let them do that. Same thing comes down to when they talk about the swimming pools. Who knows the swimming pools? You've got to talk to the people that do the lakes. What are we doing with the lakes? We've got to talk to the people that we have to make sure that they understand, or they can tell us what needs to be done. And then we can look at it and say, okay, we agree with this, or how do we change this, or what do we need to do to help you? You also have to think about that we have not approved it this year, but you have someone, a contract out there or a proposal out there that wants to be manager over all of it. But he wants a hefty sum to do it. So there's a lot to think about before you can even turn around and say, okay, let's set your job description, because we don't know what their job description is yet. Go to the people and let them help us do that.
I'd like to propose this idea right here. I don't know the fellows and the gals, if there are any, that are running all of our grounds. I would love to meet them all. I would love to get to know them. I'd love to talk to them. I'd like to have a lunch right here or in another suitable location where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly on how the golf courses are run. Who has ideas? Who has suggestions? Where can we make improvements? Our equipment needs being met. Are we keeping up with repairs? I want to be able to take their temperature. I want to be able to look them in the eye and say, how can we help you succeed? How can we help you win? How can we help you be a better crew? I would like to have that opportunity to spend a couple $100 on a pile of pizza or whatever spins everybody's crank and say, let's get together for an hour for lunch, hour and a half, and let's talk about the different things that you do. I would like to learn. I'd like to meet them. Until I meet somebody, I can't gauge their personality, and I can't size them up and say, this person's going to be really great at this, or this person better stay doing right what they're doing because that's what they really like. So your thoughts on this, crew? About the lunch and meeting the staff?
I'm just wondering legally what we can call that kind of a gathering. Because
You can't shut everything down to do that. And when I say that, when you want to have the employees all come, somebody still has to be at the golf course. If it's during the summer, somebody still has to be at the swimming pool. Somebody still has to be at the rec center. So
I'm suggesting much sooner than much later.
could we do like when I say we, it's
Have a barbecue at 5:30. Have a barbecue. Sure.
Everybody's got to eat.
but I'm concerned about what kind of meeting legally, because Brent and Tony and Steve and Michael, we want to ask them, what do you think the job description should entail?
you're not doing commissioner's work where you're making a decision.
It's fact finding.
It's meet your board
Yes.
members. Come to a barbecue, meet your board members.
You're not gonna meet with them and tell them, how do you want me to vote?
No.
So it has nothing to do with the meeting, because you're not talking voting. You're talking about their jobs. You're asking them for help.
I think it's a good idea. If anybody else thinks it's a good idea, let me know. If you think it's a stupid idea, let me know.
No,
I'm all ears. You're not going to hurt my
I
feelings.
think it's a good idea, we need to have this person be part of it, and that night.
Who's that?
The one for the
The rocks.
rocks.
The maintenance agreement for the boat, the pontoons, the lake safety and all that jazz.
Because Joe worked a lot on the lakes and he's got some great resources.
Joe wants nothing to do with working on the lakes anymore. And, yeah, that is something to be discussed there. Because that comes down to the same thing, is it actually, it's not in the budget, because we don't have a budget. Is it absolutely needed for what we're looking at doing? That's on the, something to consider of his proposal there. And that's just to work on the boat if it's needed help. It was all done, it was all refurbished, redone, tuned, whatever you wanna say, when they took it out last year, or whatever they did at the end of the year. There's been some expression of what are we actually getting for what he's asking if they don't do anything. And then when he proposed that to me, there were no time limits or amount limits in there. But when he sent the contract in, he put a contract, he wanted a limit on 1,000 hours and $1,500 or something.
15 hours and $1,000.
Okay, that's right. And we also have somebody that is on staff that works on boats, that repairs boats.
All the more reason for us to get together and have a, hey, how you doing? Have some chicken. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the world of Cherokee Village Suburban Improvement District, golf, lakes, management, maintenance. The sky's the limit. I wanna get to know these people, and they wanna get to know us, because we are, I am driven to make this a better organization. I am driven to make this a streamlined organization. I'm driven to save us money wherever we can. And I'm hoping that resonates with the people in the audience and my fellow commissioners. And time is of the essence. We're all familiar with that term. So I think it's important that we tap our own resources first to see if we have some people that want to raise their hand and say, hey, I can do that, and I can save the SID money. And those are the type of people I want to run into. I'm open to ideas. I'm ready to think outside the box. Let's do something a little different than we have done and see what road it takes us down. I want us to be successful whatever direction we go. And we just have to start taking a step forward in one direction and make some decisions. And if you think it's a good idea that we have an opportunity to meet the staff, because there's a lot of people. I looked at the list of employees. There's 25 people on there that I don't know. And I'd like to get to know them, so.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I just was being conservative again, I'm sorry.
Well, there's one way, I mean, going and using the facilities is a good way to get to meet them, because every time I've ever gone golfing or swimming or over at Omaha Center, I stop and I talk to the employees who are in charge, who are taking up the money and things like that. So I've gotten to know a lot of the employees just from going around using these amenities. The other thing is too, we're talking about this landscape bids. It seems like we would have to get this amenities, if we're gonna go this route, amenities manager in place first to see if we even need a landscape bid. Because like one proposal, he did also put in a landscape proposal, but he also put in a proposal about being amenities manager, is that he thinks you can hire one or two guys and buy some equipment and save us a ton of money, and we wouldn't have to have a landscaping contract. It'd be all in-house, taking care of everything. You know, would that work or not? I mean, we'd have to hear exactly what the plan would be. Is that going to save us money? So that's something we need to consider.
I agree, and I think I want to shop in our own backyard first. I want to get the thoughts and the direction of the people that are on our team. I want to respect them. I want to go to them. I want to be part of their world so that we can take care of their world better. And I just, you never know. There may be somebody that's been working for us for years, who is a hard worker, has good common sense head on their shoulders, and they can rise to the occasion and go beyond what they've been asked to do in the past. We don't know till we ask. And if we find somebody in-house, and we decide that we want to take care of our own mowing, on our own park maintenance, and our own dam mowing, and all the rest of the stuff, that is great. Maybe some of our seasonal part-time people can be seasonal full-time people. We can expand our horizons and, compensate them fairly for what they're doing. And we may not have to hire a landscape company, but we have to run down this road fairly quickly, because it's going to get warm soon and the grass is going to start turning green. And I'd like to make some progress in that regard. So,
Because by March or no later than April, we need something in place to start taking care of everything, because they're gonna have to clean up after the winter, so.
is it a bad idea that our crew takes care of all of our mowing and all of our lawn maintenance?
If we have the personnel and add the equipment, yeah, I mean, that'd be great if we already had the equipment. I don't know if we would.
Okay,
All we had.
that's something we have to size up.
I know I brought up the other day that, I told Brent when I talked to him that we have the ability to use the inmates. And talking to Jan, yes, we do use the inmates. SID does make arrangements for them to come. So there's resources there again that we need to look into that we can use locally.
And that's a great idea. If we get behind the 8 ball and the springtime creeps up on us, and we need 15 hands on deck to remove limbs and branches and leaves and all this stuff that are plugging up the fairways and the golf courses, let's bring in a group and let's have a really good blast of participation. If we need to get 10 or 20 of the county's finest dressed in orange, we will consider that. I'm not opposed to that at all. There's a lot of guys that like the opportunity to get out and get some fresh air and do some hard work. So just another point to consider. Okay, so am I hearing from the board that we're not ready to make a decision on landscaping tonight because we want to get a handle on our budget?
You can't make a decision tonight anyway.
Well, I mean, as far as which company you're leaning with, which company is an absolute red X on their bid. I don't know these people. I've heard good things about our previous company, D5 Hydro Seeding. Heard great things about what they did last year. They were working hard behind the 8 ball after all the floods. And to me, that means a lot. And barring unforeseen flood situations and craziness with the weather, they would probably hit a home run, based upon the enthusiasm they brought to our situation last year. But I don't know anything about Jeff Klein's crew at Specialized Outdoor Services or Arkansas Landscapes or Norris Lawn Care. So if you got some particular negatives or some particular positives, let's talk about them.
What I'd like to hear, because Steve, Brent, myself, we're new. Last year, you used, for example, D5. Okay. Susan, Tony, you know what you've done in the past, how well.
How is the person that can answer that better, if he would?
It's D5.
Is he good? That's him.
Okay.
But I was looking at Zach from the golf course. The D5
Right.
is here that you can answer questions, and that's something that if you're looking at landscaping and you want to look at that, they have brought the landscapers in so that you could ask them any question you wanted to ask them, because asking one and not giving the others that did not show up because they weren't asked to be here, just be careful.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for him to introduce himself and say hello to the board, the new people especially, talk about last year's successes and failures and what improvements he'd want to make. I think that would be reasonable. Would you like to come up and grab a microphone for 2 minutes?
So for all of you know, I'm Peyton Davis. I am the owner-operator of D5, as you know.
Got a copy of the microphone.
We did have the previous contract, and we tried to improve upon with the individuals who had it the previous year. And I think for all intents and purposes, we tried as hard as we could. We did the best we could, especially considering the floods and stuff that we had to overtake and all the spring and monsoons apparently we had. But we tried our best. I think we did decent. Betsy, I think, would have agreed. In some ways and others, we had hiccups, we had shortfalls, I'm sure. We tried to correct those. You know, I live here, I live in Cherokee, my family property owners. I live 2 miles down the road. I was married in this very room, so I'm very local. I am here in the village working, and any shortfalls that we did have, I tried to address them within 24 hours. I think that Jan or any of the other maintenance crews who I dealt with directly could attest to that. If there were problems, I tried to fix them myself within 24 hours at the latest. So that's just introduce myself, and if you have any questions.
It's nice to meet you.
I can talk.
If you're a landscaper that has a submitted bid, you can have your 3 minutes of fame, but if not, this is closed to the public. Any other landscape owners present or landscape representatives? Okay.
Tony, Susan, Jan, do you have anything that you can enlighten us three newbies on? I don't know.
I mean, I know, but I don't know if this is.
No, it's not.
What is the appropriate, this is not the appropriate time?
No.
That's fine. Can the two senior commissioners talk about last year?
They can talk about it, but what you're asking Jan to say is something that needs to be discussed
I
in
understand.
public.
I understand.
And you all can ask me.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
It's been my experience with D5 that they worked hard. They had some obstacles to overcome, but they worked really hard to overcome those. And I know that part of the problem was, just like when we ran the South Golf Course restaurant, we couldn't keep help. And almost every week, it was an ongoing situation, but I believe that Peyton has got a handle on that, and I don't have any interest in him personally. I'm glad you're a property owner and all that, but he did good work. And you've got to remember, last year in March, we had those tornadoes in Cave City that blew up through here, and then it started raining, and for months, and we're still working on some of the property. So the leaves and the trimming and the trees and the buildings and the grass, he was behind the 8 ball almost every week, but he did a great job. And like Brent, if it comes down to that, I would like to give him another opportunity because he prevailed when the things were going tough.
Hey, when's the last time we can secure your bid? I mean, what kind of time frame?
Preferably just before, things start growing.
Well said, well said. We are gonna move as expeditiously as we can.
But saying,
Thank you for your input on that.
but saying that, I'm gonna withhold any comments until we decide if we're going with an amenities manager or, because like I said, I know, for instance, Jeff Klein has an idea of where if he was the manager, he could just hire a couple people and not have to do a landscape bid. So if we go, it depends on which route we go and how we do this. And if he still wants to do a landscape bid, then he could say, whoever we name as the amenities manager wants to keep these 4 bids and get it done, and then we can make decisions based on that. But until that time, I think I'd rather throw my comments on and let others see.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, because Jeff Klein's proposal came in at $138,000, and B5's came in at $151,000. Arkansas Landscapes came in at $115,000, and Norris Landscape came in at $123,400. So that's kind of, we're all the same neighborhood as far as budgetary situations. We need to figure out with our amenities director, if that's our outdoor facilities manager, and all that routine. So that brings us back to the question of how soon can we meet with them? And we all want to have a picnic for these guys, invite them in so we can chat with them. Employees, so everybody, inside and outside employees, have a little get together, get to meet the board. Don't everybody chime in at once.
Well, what's your schedules?
You know what? I don't know about everybody else, but I will make the time whatever time it is. If we narrow it down to a couple of days, I'm sure I can choose one of them where I'm doing my regular job and I'm not there, so.
Well, it's gonna take some time to plan it, where, when, and all that stuff, so it's,
I can tell you
March already, or
I was
what's
gonna say, who's gonna plan it?
yeah, it's a whole other thing.
Okay, keep in mind, Jan already has 2 jobs.
Well, I mean, if we pick a day and you tell me, I'll figure it out and run it by you, and you can say yes or no, and we can run forward. How about y'all, the commissioners, and whatever else? Do we have our next regular meeting on the 17th? Do you want to try lunch on the 19th or dinner on the 19th?
No, that's damn day.
I'm sorry, I knew that, and that's what I've got written on my calendar.
Council, so no.
Yeah, it's also
I'm thinking, let's see.
Wednesday the 18th.
How about Wednesday the 18th? Well,
Wednesday, Thursday?
That's actually Wednesday.
okay.
Not the last week of February.
The-
Help a little bit.
Well, and I just said those days so to move it along.
Thank you, Susan. Okay. I don't care if it's really soon. I mean, it would probably take a week. I mean, I know hungry guys don't need a week's worth of notice to get together to eat. And I don't either. So we could do this. It is the 6th. We could do it. Mike, what's your schedule for the last week of February? You around?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yes.
You're around. We could do, just for fun, Wednesday, the 25th of February, just to pick a day.
Orthodox Lent begins on early now. What do y'all do, Tony? See?
25th, I can't, well, I got 11 a.m.
Well, it would be.
This being an evening, it would be a 5:30 event.
Come on, Miss Davis.
What was wrong with the 18th, you said?
Well, we have something 17th and the 19th.
Right.
And then
Get it all done. It's just a.
Well, it makes for a really good.
A dinner.
What you're looking at, you're not keeping in mind. If she goes to work at 8 o'clock,
You're right.
every day, she shows up early. If she goes to work at every clock every day, and then you want to have a meeting every night and something where she's not getting home until 6 or 7 o'clock that night, that's okay. That's a lot to ask.
it's just a lot
That's
of.
a lot, that's a lot.
It's a lot of one week.
There's a lot of meetings happening that week, the 16th through the 20th, with city council and us and Ash
Okay,
Wednesday.
so the week of the 23rd, could we do a lunch?
Not for employees.
Not for employees.
I think we're gonna have to do an evening thing.
This is more fact-finding than anything else. Is there anything wrong, with one or two or three commissioners going to talk to employees? Is that considered a meeting? It's more fact-finding to me. What can and can we not do in that regard? And we want to do the right thing.
That's a gray line
I know.
for 3 commissioners to take off and go.
Not together.
You're still gonna end up in the same place.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you are together, whether you get in the same car or you end up at the same place.
can I just get in the car myself and go talk to any employee?
Yes, you can do that. You probably need to let somebody know
Right.
that you're coming because they're working.
I understand, yeah.
The maintenance man will be, you never know where they are, so you gotta find out
There
where
you
they
go,
are.
some of
first.
that. And if you're walking into the clubhouse and just start, don't take this wrong, but you start talking to one of the ladies, you guys, you have to make some plans and let them know you're coming. They may not be there, but no, you can go find them, I can't stop you as a commissioner to go talk to them.
What I was getting at is, one is fine.
One is fine.
Two or more, gray area.
So we're not gonna get in trouble when we have a dinner meeting.
Yeah.
It's not a meeting, it's
So,
a meet and greet. Hey, how are you? Who are you? What do you do?
Having a meet and greet where you're all here and you're doing this, you've got somebody to watch your back that you're not talking about something, so you can't be accused of doing something when you can be when you go off by yourself.
Gotcha.
So it's a little bit of CYA.
And I appreciate that. I'm very cognizant of the need to not break those rules.
Right.
So, go ahead, Tony.
That brings up a subject that I was gonna talk about also, because you also said about sending out emails for us to decide on that one section. It may be prudent that we get some FOIA training for everybody, have another FOIA seminar, so you can tell what we can do and what we can't do, because you can't send out emails and us just make a decision from the emails. It has to be done in public.
This is not gonna be to make a decision.
Right.
It's just
I'm not
that you guys
talking
can
about that. We had talked about another part of the bylaw we were talking about. Said you send it out, we can decide there. We can't do any of that stuff. We have to be, all discussion like that needs to be in public. Because we are subject to FOIA when we start talking to each other and passing, text or emails or anything. So having a seminar that covers all the FOIA rules and stuff like that might be helpful to all of us. Again, I mean, it's good for us, it's good for Susan and I to go through it again, and it's good for y'all since you haven't been there.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd be willing to listen and sit down to make sure
there's somebody that does that.
What's that?
Who? Was it Lucinda that did it to us?
Lucy did what?
Did a FOIA seminar?
Oh,
Anything that you can vote on that will come across your desk to vote on is considered a foilable thing. Whoa, we
he can't talk, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just tackle one thing here at a time. I think if we have a dinner meeting at a time that's good for all the commissioners, hopefully all the people can make it. A 5:30 barbecue, dinner, burgers, pizza. I am totally flexible. Don't care what we eat. I just want to know who I'm going to meet.
where at, when?
Is this the most acceptable venue for food?
Yes, and do you want it the 24th of February?
That Tuesday?
That'd be good for me.
Is that good for everybody?
It's good for me.
It's good
Is
for
that
me.
good for you?
For me,
It's not.
it's not for you?
Well, Tony, I want you there too.
What's that week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday's good for you? Jan? Mike? Sue? Stephen?
It's good for me as long as we don't interfere with somebody going to church. Anybody who has Wednesday night church, I do not want to interfere with their ability to get here.
Appreciate your sensitivity to that. Yeah, my church doesn't do Wednesday night, so I'm.
Yes, they do. I will be there Wednesday night doing the kids.
Oh, okay, well, Wednesday night is terrible according to rumors I'm hearing. Thursday?
But don't,
I'm one person.
that's, I'm gonna say, don't do that, but he's got a legitimate thing there, is that you're not going to talk about the people here
Oh, yeah.
that are going to church, your employees.
Yes.
I can prepare Monday, the 23rd? Is there a meeting?
Monday the 23rd, there's no meeting.
I mean, city.
No.
I'm open. Monday night. There's no football. I'm gonna be here.
There's no football.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Well, one of the nights we haven't discussed, and it's casual, it's after work. What about Friday the 20th? It's Friday night, 5:30 or 6.
But there, that's what you said, you've got several things going, several meetings that week, you've got
Right, I
the
understand that,
17th, the
but too much.
19th, and the 20th for SID.
Okay, you're asking me.
That's the point. The point is for a Friday night and employees to come in
Okay.
to
Yeah.
meet you.
And quite frankly-
It's a high priority.
Yeah, I
I
understand.
get it.
But maybe if we
told to ask
Just ask
the,
it.
put out a notice of what we, of questions that we would like to ask, maybe
Well,
they
you
can
can
fill
do that, we can do that anyway.
Anyway.
But on Friday night.
It's gonna be an awful
it's
night.
not Good night.
Tell me who of us here really want to be here on this Friday night. So to tell the employees that they need to be here, I agree with that.
Tuesday or Thursday sounds like good options.
You said Monday.
I said Monday the
Monday,
23rd, but I don't know what anybody's doing.
Yep, well, any night works for me, I don't care.
I'm good on Monday the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything scheduled on the 23rd.
Michael, are you good for the 23rd? Okay, why don't we just go ahead and scratch 23rd in pencil on our calendars. Let's say Monday the 23rd, 5:30 here. And we will work on one of us, two of us.
Susan will make her famous chicken casserole dish.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well,
So-
we're feeding a lot of people. I think we probably need to go commercial.
I was kidding.
Oh, okay,
I was
okay.
saying how good of a cook she is.
I've heard that rumor. Can't wait to examine that. Anyway, so Monday the 23rd, 5:30 here. For
Employees.
employees, inside, outside, every SID employee is invited to come, meet the commissioners, and just have some fun.
And you
Have
have
some
to do
food.
5:30.
5:30, I think, is a good time frame. Hearing no argument, that sounds like a keeper. We'll argue about food and all that stuff afterwards. We'll figure out what we're gonna do, unless anybody's, because it's 6 o'clock, and I wanna plow through a couple of things lightly. As long as we got 23rd squared away at 5:30, great. Any more comment on the feeding the teeming masses? Okay,
Yeah, we need a break.
okay.
5-minute potty break.
Let's take a 5-minute break. Thanks, everybody. Quick recess.